Hello, good morning. Welcome back to another video where my husband and I are trying to buy our very first home somewhere in England. We are back in Derbyshire County because we would like to give this county a second try and visit different and smaller towns than the very first time we came here. I think this town called Wirksworth is very quaint and quite quirky. We have got one house viewing coming up and I can't wait to show you around. Let's go. So Wirksworth came to us as a recommendation to look out for when I posted a question in Derbyshire Facebook group. It's quite interesting because we wouldn't have considered it. So I think it's going to be a day where we are sampling different smaller towns and probably villages. But upon visiting this quiet and sleepy village, it's quite quirky, lots of different intricate shops that I love to visit. So it is really adorable that they still have got artisan pottery that's quite popular in town, and another shop that also sells lots of painting. I have always loved towns or villages that has a strong independent shops presence, and I think because it has created this unique personality, because often it sort of shows a strong sense of community. What's not important, rather than seeing a strong presence of community feeling and good economy, I think. Would you look at this church? It's tucked away behind the main town centre and it looks fantastic with the hills as its background. The traditional Derbyshire houses, I think, are unique because of this stone walls. I'm just adoring these tiny alleyways, the quirkiness of it all, and wondering if this is something that we can live in. We are heading to the very first house viewing in the area, which is only 3 minutes drive, but yeah, it's very quaint.
It's a nice little town, isn't it? I mean, we got a sense of village life straight away. I think the population of Wirksworth is only 5,000 or something, so yeah. It is really small.
The first property we viewed was a semi-detached 3-bed house about 20-minute walk from Wirksworth town centre. The inside was recently modernised throughout and really bright. With 3 nicely sized bedrooms and a converted garage, there was more than enough space for the both of us. It also had a great sized living room and an open plan dining room / kitchen. So we've just done the first house viewings in Wirksworth, and it was a really good one because not only the size is suitable for us, it's not too big, it's recently done up.
I think they've owned it for about 8 or 9 years and they've completely redone the whole thing, converted the garage. Every room is in good condition.
The driveway was even nice.
We're not looking for something that's going to be too much of a
project.
So it's and it was what, 325. So yeah. It's definitely within budget.
Yeah,
which is good to see.
Yeah. So we are driving back to Matlock because that's the second house viewing we've got today. The second property we viewed was a link-detached 4-bed house about 15-minute walk from Matlock town centre. Similar to the first one, the inside was recently renovated throughout and really bright inside. This house had an amazing kitchen, 4 bedrooms, and the bonus of an extra downstairs office.
It was deceptively spacious and was probably more space than what we need.
So second house, we've just done a brief viewing. It was a stunning interior design actually, with 4 beds.
But they only moved 2.5 years ago, the couple probably similar age to us, and they're only moving because of work and I think family. It means that they put a lot of work into the house, so it's all completely modernised, 4 bedrooms. It's even got like a downstairs separate office, big kitchen.
Although it's a 40 grand more.
It's 40 grand more, but it's also in
Town.
town. It's in like main Matlock town.
So we're just heading out for a bit of coffee, snacks here and there, and see more Matlock. I think it's more picturesque than what we anticipated. I think because the characteristic is still persists, like this kind of Derbyshire-esque stoneworks, stone houses.
Malvern, obviously really beautiful, but it's got the big hill right next to it. Whereas this is kind of like rolling hills around.
Yeah.
So it's a bit more,
accessible.
yeah, it's a bit more picturesque all around because you're surrounded by the hills rather than just like one big hill.
You see the roads are so hilly, and you can see the dales behind all of this beautiful old historical buildings.
We've even got a chapel for sale over here.
Oh, that's a converted chapel, isn't it?
Oh, maybe it's flats actually because they've got lots of little post boxes.
This sourdough Dave. Didn't know that my husband has got a shop in town. As desperate as we sound, we actually got somewhat decent coffee, I'd say, with poppy seed and lemon bread. Not sure. Cinnamon bun. Wow, that's a flat white, and that's an Americano for £8, I think. And the interior design is actually quite attractive.
As a market town once famed for its spa treatment during Queen Victoria's reign, Matlock has grown into a popular destination amongst local visitors. With a population of around 12,000 and an attractive town centre hosting lots of small independent shops and cafes, it's a perfect destination for a weekend getaway. With hills that are somewhat gentler than the fierce slopes and moorlands of the peaks, the surrounding area is known as the Derbyshire Dales.
I think the weather today has been quite temperamental because it has changed every 5 seconds. What I'm trying to say, even though Matlock doesn't have the best train connectivity, it's got this really beautiful independent shops and got lots of amenities. So in town like this, especially on the weekend, you have got a few visitors because it's close to Matlock Bath, which is more popular destinations in Derbyshire. But also the location itself is just quite unique because of the Derbyshire Dales. So the community is quite buzzing actually. So I love seeing that. Lots of independent shops, including gift shop, jewelry shop, and a local boutique. The local tourism has given it a chance for it to thrive. Gorgeous bookshop over there. Welcome to Holleys Park, which is a local park in Matlock that was somewhat open during the coronation of King George V. And I think the park itself has been really lovely because it looks like it's well maintained. The local really love this area to get away from the traffic, and at the same time lots of kids are playing around. Lovely pond just behind me with ducks swimming nearby. Yeah, it's just quite quaint. I think it sort of takes off this kind of necessities that we need in a town where you still need that green space.
I love this side of the park where you've got this giant ancient trees framing it as if you're walking under this enormous mature trees, and feels like you're so protected. I'm sure I'm not the only one who appreciates trees, because it's got this sense of wisdom that I think I truly adore. Something about ancient mature trees speaks to me a lot more. It's always an aspect of nature that I look forward to seeing. I'm just enjoying this bench to sit and overlooking this bridge in front of me, because this bridge, Matlock Bridge, is actually quite historical, because this was built in the 1400s, and in the beginning that it was built, it was only built two halves and also widened in 1904. It becomes quite unique, I think, because it looks like a very artistic presence to town that makes it even more idyllic. So it's been a lovely day, 2 house viewings, a town and village.
Yeah.
And what do you think so far?
Well, it's been good to see 2 contrasting places. You know, Wirksworth, which is this small village, which is not really like a tourist destination, and then obviously Matlock, which is a bit more of an actual destination people come just to kind of for their weekend trips. I've felt really comfortable walking around Matlock. I think it's a really nice place. One thing I think I feel in the town centre, it feels like everybody here are visitors rather than locals. I mean, it's not totally true, but it makes it feel slightly less homely, if you know what I mean. So
yeah, it feels like a really great destination to visit. But at the same time, we don't have a strong feeling towards this place so far. It's not like we dislike it. It's not like we absolutely love it.
And I think it's probably that thing about it feeling a bit more like a tourist destination that is making it not like I love. The houses we've seen are actually, I think we could get something really affordable, and actually they're quite nice areas. Like it's really, really nice surroundings.
If I was here to just make travel videos, I'll speak about this and that, and it's a really lovely, pleasant area to visit. But then we have to remove ourselves from a visitor perspective. Good morning. It's day 2 in Matlock. We have been staying at this studio apartment for the past 2 nights, and before checking out, which we have 20 minutes to go, I would like to actually show you the apartment that feels like homely but also modern. Let's start from the bedroom that we have been sleeping on. I love the skylights because it allows you to absorb as many light throughout the day, and you get to see the church over there across us. But also the bed have been really comfy. There is a dressing table which works really well when I get ready in the morning, and also obviously fitted cupboard if you carry a lot of stuff with you when you travel. So it is comfortable and have provided us with an enormous good sleep. And if you're interested in booking the same place, make sure to click the link I have for you so that you can support the channel. Beautiful sofa bed that is adjacent to the kitchen. There's a washing machine, there's an oven, there's a hob over there, and a really decent sized dining table, which also works as a working station. I love doing bits and bobs here in the morning. Also, we've got a fridge over here. We've got a microwave, kettle obviously, toaster, everything that you need. but it doesn't stop there, because actually the biggest surprise is something up there. So this is something so fun and actually feels like my childhood dream, because this loft has been successfully converted into a really decent double bed. So actually the apartment accommodates 4 people and you can come here as a family. Unfortunately, it's only the 2 of us, but I love this skylight. Gosh, you can see the Derbyshire Dale from here. It looks so stunning. The birds are chirping. This feels like a perfect weekend getaway. The former spa resort of Matlock Bath owes its fame to the natural thermal springs, which was first utilised by the Romans. With a population less than 1,000, Matlock Bath has transformed from a quiet hamlet into a thriving tourist hotspot. Often described as a seaside resort town but without the sea, it has an abundance of fish and chip shops, ice cream stores, and arcades lining the streets. After exploring some of the smaller towns of Derbyshire, we set off on a 3-hour journey south to check out a brand new county, Cambridgeshire. With close proximity to Cambridge and London, we were excited to try something a bit different to the previous counties we'd been to. We are in St Ives in Cambridgeshire within East Anglia. This is such an uncharted territory for us, so we are so excited to actually explore some parts of the region and to see it for ourselves, whether we can envision us living here. Let's go. Once an important medieval market town and port, St Ives has a current population of around 17,000. Its charming centre is known for its historic bridge, weekly markets, and a good mix of independent shops and cafes. Though no longer a bustling trade hub, the town has a peaceful, lived-in feel, a favourite among commuters and those drawn to a slower pace of life. So first impression of St Ives, I think it's quite a nice size of a market town, meaning that there are quite a lot of shops and a few of coffee shops.
There seems to be quite a lot going on, like the town centre itself is fairly big.
I think because it's close to Cambridge, a lot of day trippers often come here on the weekend.
I think it's also another popular commuter town because they've got a busway that goes actually directly from just St Ives, and it takes only 50 minutes, 45 minutes, I think you can get into Cambridge from here.
Yeah, so it's really convenient. So yeah, I think it's been nice and lovely and just a bit of a different kind of pace to what we're used to. I suppose. Look at this building behind me. It's just quite characteristic with the timber.
It seems like quite a historical area of the country actually. It's like a mixture of
thatched roof.
There's a lot of new residential estates, but a lot of the buildings in the town itself are quite old and historic, which is quite nice.
Yeah. So there's this really nice area in town where potentially this is the main attraction when people visit, because there's this St Ives bridge, and along the side of the river there are lots of benches. So kids often would feed the swan, the ducks, the birds.
and it is so peaceful.
Although I feel like it's a duck and bird fighting zone.
I think so too, look at them. Quite aggressive, aren't they? Oh. So there's this cute bicycle coffee shop in town that we're so attracted by. So we've come to the Commute, which is the local coffee shops, and I think we've ordered a flat white, Americano, sausage roll that has been furnished by my husband, and a carrot cake. And all of this cost us £17, which is about similar to what we usually pay elsewhere. So far it's quite decent, I think. Not the best, but it's not the worst. So we are at one of the local church, and it is gorgeous, very serene over here. Ooh, the bell is ringing, and just this gorgeous trees. I love the medieval feeling to this area. So it's been only a few hours that we have been here, and it's always been difficult to conclude certain thoughts in a new place. But so far there's this uncomfortable feeling that we try to shrug it off, but it seems to keep coming back.
Yeah, I think it's like, obviously it's difficult to get a sense in just a few hours somewhere, but you do notice quite quickly when you sort of feel like you're inconveniencing people a bit more. It's like in some places we've been, everyone's been very kind of smiley and warm, and it feels like they're just generally open and welcoming, whereas something about being here, the 2 days that we've sort of tried,
giving it a try, it doesn't feel like that, and there's so many times that I tried to make eye contacts, and I mean generally fair enough, the English are reserved and avoiding eye contact, so you don't really blame that for them.
Apologies.
But having said that, there are circumstances where we feel like people are just a bit more welcoming and warm and accustomed to probably like variety of people. I don't know how to really say it because it's not really a tangible stuff. So we are heading to a smaller town not far from here actually. It's called Godmanchester because the name itself actually intrigued us.
Just across the river from the town of Huntingdon, Godmanchester is a quiet town with deep Roman roots. Once a significant Roman settlement, today it's home to just under 7,000 people. The town blends historical charm with riverside walk, thatched roof houses, and peaceful green spaces. Though small, it has a distinct character, a place full of history with nature close by.
So first impression of Godmanchester is that it's just so quaint. There's so many green spaces, so much open landscape and great open sky because of the flat land of the county.
Yeah, it's definitely a very picturesque little town. I think the population's only about 8,000 or something, so it's one of the smaller places we visited, but it's quite nice in that it seems to all be like accessible and it's not too far away from a bigger town, so you can actually walk to the big town of Huntingdon.
At the beginning, it felt like a village, but it is actually considered as a smaller town. I think it's such a contrasting landscape coming from where we live in the northwest, which is technically just so green and wet, but also quite hilly, and where we've been recently in Derbyshire, which is just completely like surrounded by the peaks, and now to this, which is one of the driest county in the country, but also very flat. There is this bridge that links you to town, but also next to this there are a few of gorgeous mature willow trees which look stunning, and next to that is just waterway.
Yeah, you see a lot of boats all over these areas, which is really nice.
Imagine if we live in one of these houses and have access to this water.
We just come out for rowing every morning. And there's loads of swans as well on all of these.
Can easily admire this very, very specific, picturesque part of town. So Godmanchester doesn't seem to have town centre. However, I'll show you something special. There's a swan nesting. Seems to me that the swan is a local resident, because they do say that do not feed the swan while nesting, as it attracts rats to the area. See ya! So cute! Lovely little walkaway along the riverside, because you've got this historical timber or Tudor style type of buildings, and you can actually see quite a lot of thatched roof cottage in this town, which I adore, but it is so expensive to maintain. But one can adore that and appreciate it. So Godmanchester as a town was founded in 1212. I think we are somewhat intrigued by its close proximity to Cambridge and London, and to even a bigger town of Huntingdon, which has great transport links. That's not me acting. This is so good. So earlier we came to visit a local butcher, and they have got pork pie, sausage roll and Cornish pasty. I'm just eating one of the pork pies. On top of that, we also got ourselves local apple juice and ginger, which I think is native to Cambridgeshire in terms of the local produce, and it tastes so good. It's so affordable. The peeps at the butcher was so friendly. It made us think, should we actually move here just because of this? And we're actually convinced already. Sorry, that's not an elegant way to drink, but when we've got the breeze and this view, what else could you ask for? I actually think willow trees are some of the most gorgeous trees on planet. It's protecting you from this wide open sky, but it reminds me of some of the Harry Potter scenes. We have got one house viewing actually in town.
Well, we were hoping to get a few more, but unfortunately a bit last minute. We could only get one, but it's on the other side of Godmanchester.
We're hoping to see what the budget that we have can get us if we were to move here.
The only property we viewed in Cambridgeshire was a 4-bedroom detached house in a quiet residential area. The home has been recently refurbished and features a decent-sized open-plan kitchen, dining and sitting area. A conservatory adds extra living space, and the part-converted garage now serves as a utility room. Upstairs, there are 4 bedrooms and a modern bathroom. The property includes a driveway, a front garden and a rear garden with a patio area.
So we've just done the only house viewings we are able to manage. It was a really good experience because the value for what you pay in comparison to certain houses that we've viewed within the same price bracket
I was actually
makes it a bit more
was
convincing.
genuinely surprised because I thought being in Cambridgeshire and it's only an hour from London, an hour from Cambridge, it would be more expensive. And it is a little bit, but that house was really good value. Like it was detached.
South-facing, which is important.
Yeah.
Bright.
And yeah, so it was bright, it was 4 bedrooms, and it was brand new. Like in the last 5 years, they renovated the whole thing. So
yeah, so that
really
has
good.
given us a bit more hope if we choose to come here. But it's been an interesting experience because I think the idea of contrasting counties so far, from Derbyshire, Worcestershire to now Cambridgeshire, it's just something that we'd like to see what it feels like in person.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, I don't know how you feel about it, but my impression after being in a couple of different places in Derbyshire now, slightly bigger in Chesterfield and then Matlock earlier in this episode, and then now doing Cambridgeshire after Worcestershire, I think I definitely feel solidified in my head that I want to be further down south than Derbyshire, just because of that feeling of different, new start.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know what you think.
No, absolutely. I think for me, anywhere in the country is already a new start anyway. But having said that, I think it would be good if we were to want to have that fresh start for both of us, and to see that kind of possibilities that appear. For me, I am indecisive at this point. Yeah. I think part of it is also because when you're filming your own experience, trying to observe and feel the place, there's this extra added pressure having to capture that, and often it clouds our own judgment because all we think was that how could we capture this place, how could we communicate that with you, how could we make the best video there is to the best of our abilities. It is actually far difficult than creating travel videos because as you travel, you're not so invested in the place, knowing that there's a potential of you moving there. But having been to some of these places that we thought we have to conclude opinions on, it's been emotionally more draining, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I think that's it. I think that's just some of the attempts that we've had so far in collecting few snippets, bits and bobs of the counties that we've visited. We may or may not continue on filming it in the future because it's, I think, proven a bit more difficult than what we anticipated.
And I think we probably, now that we've got a feeling of places, I think we just need to go away and think about what we really feel, and then probably go back without the camera to to the place that we decide
relax,
to be but also
observe.
just to really get a feeling of what it's like to live there without having to feel like we have to document it.
Yeah.
But you're back to travelling soon.
I
so
know,
that's good.
I'm excited because I think that is just things I know of. It is difficult, but there's a separation between personal and work life. This one is a bit more dwindled and discombobulated.
Well, you're going to a new continent.
A new continent indeed.
New country,
so I
new
am
everything.
a bit apprehensive, but quite excited as always. Looking forward to just keep experimenting because
that's the fun bit. Let us know what you think so far. Initially, we were thinking of making a few more videos, but we thought that this would be a good concluding video right now, and then have a break a bit, because I think weekend trip doing this is also quite exhausting while trying to catch up with like full-time day job that we have.
Definitely.
So
But yeah, it'd be good to know just generally whether you've enjoyed the series, or any kind of thoughts on if we were to carry on, would you want to watch it, or what would you want to see differently, and all that sort of stuff, because it's a whole new thing, isn't it? Like, never done it before. So.
yeah, so thank you so much for watching today's video. I would love to see you on the comment section. Please make sure to click the link of the playlist if you haven't watched the first, second, the third, and so many other videos that you are probably interested in watching. I can't wait to see you again from the next new country, hopefully, or in between. I don't know. We'll see. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.